Good morning, I think. Yeah, 11:27, still morning. Good morning. Well, we just made a 15-mile trip across town on the interstate. Highway speeds are where this thing seemed to have been messing up the most, and I am pleased to report it's not messing up the most. It's not messing up in the least. Or did it just? I don't think it did. We'll have to go back and review the footage anyway. If you didn't watch the video where I've got my goofy self looking confused as the thumbnail, the last thing I did was unhook the USB cable in the glove box from the back of the stereo. That was one of the things that some of the folks on one of the Road Glide Facebook groups said was causing the same issue on their bike. But when I went to go hook or start the bike back up after that, we just got a ka-clunk and nothing happened. And I turned the key on again and the battery said like 9 volts. So I took the battery out, took it to the place where I bought it, had them test it. They said it had 12 point some odd volts and 400 full cranking amps on it. What it should have had. Just to be safe, I took it to O'Reilly's, had them test it, and they told me the exact same thing. So now I was confused even more. I took it back home. I took a look at a connector that goes from the regulator up to the rest of the bike. And when I took a look at it, I mean I glanced at it because I couldn't really tell where it was going without starting to tear stuff apart. I inspected the ground, the chassis ground. By inspecting it, I mean I looked at it, I didn't take it off there, it looked fine. And then I dumped the battery back in the pocket. And when I went to go tighten down the terminal screws, they were bottoming out on the battery, not on the post, which didn't seem like that happened last time I was underneath there. Last time I was underneath there was when I was tearing out some LED accent lights from the previous owner that didn't work, and I don't like them anyway. So, and I took the terminals from those off of the batteries and put the screws right back in. Well, apparently the screws that were in there were tall enough or short enough to reach the battery nut with those LED accent light terminals in there, but they were not long enough or short enough to really bite down on the terminals that were left over after I took those out. So I dug around in my little hoarder drawers. Hoard things. It's good for you, but don't get on TV for it. And to be continued after I get to this on cue, because I'm meeting somebody here to go ride. So we'll see you in a little bit. And with the magic of editing, it's been 10 miles for me and a millisecond for you. So I think I stopped at the length of the screws going into the battery. Yes, because I was talking about my hoarder cabinet. Be a hoarder, but don't get up on TV about it. Anyway, we've made it to Cleveland County. So I dug through that cabinet and I found a couple of short battery post screws and a couple of long and a couple of medium. I had long in the bike already, so I tried the short on the positive side of the battery. That was able to grab the nut and crank down on it real good. And I'd also captivated the nut-ish with the dielectric grease. I'm putting that shit on everything. It's like Frank's Red Hot. The negative side, I had to use a medium. The short just wouldn't grab the nut. The medium just barely grabbed it. But once it got a hold of it, I was able to really crank down on everything. And I cleaned the terminals off before I did that with a little brass brush. So I went ahead and buttoned everything else back up, got everything shoved back in their own little nooks and crannies, and put the seat back on and the fairings and the side covers and everything. Jumped on it and took it for about a 5-mile ride, keeping it in high RPMs, and nothing happened. So we went ahead and shut down for the night last night, and planned on doing something today. Then I saw this guy behind me, Ryan, post up on the Oklahoma Bikers Facebook group that he was looking to go on a ride to burn some bad gas out of his fuel system. And I thought, hey, who better to go on a ride with than somebody else with janky problems? So I told him I'd meet him at the On Cue gas station at I-240 Sooner. I beat him there, fueled up the bike, sat around waiting. And he showed up and I recognized him. I've ridden with this guy before. Me and him and one other guy rode to Old Red's in Tishomingo, Oklahoma a couple months ago. And there was so much jank on that ride that I didn't even bother recording it. Not from Ryan, from the other guy. I've probably talked about it in another video, but the guy was riding like an 86 Gold Wing that It got like 75 miles on a tank of gas because it ran so rich. And you know, rather than try to fix it, he just rode it like that. But you know what? He's still riding, so good for him. There were other shady things about that dude too, but we won't get into it. Ryan said he needs to ride about 100 miles to blow all the gas out of that tank, so we're taking as much back road as we can, and there's not really a whole lot of back road to take to get there, but we're doing what we can. And it's going to be, I say boring scenery, but these are some nice houses out here. But you don't want to just hang out and watch scenery on my video. You don't even want to watch my video. You're just here to humor me. So we'll bring you back when we get closer to the Taco Boy. Same old song and dance. Been here a gajillion times. We've only been to Taco Boy about 3 times though. And I know I've made a video about it, but I don't know if I shared pictures because I'm that bad. So I'll try to get some this time just in case. I think, so I've been probably 60 miles since I left the house. I reset the trip meter at the gas station. It was probably 20 miles at the gas station. I think if I can find a shady spot, either at Taco Boy or at a gas station somewhere close, I'll pop this front fairing off and hook that USB cable back up for the ride back. That seems like the right thing to do. Well, I'd say we've easily been 100 miles now. Not one single flash from the screen, not one single blip from the voltage meter. I was going to go ahead and plug the USB back into the stereo at the last gas station we stopped at. And I brought all the sockets I would need to do that, but I forgot a ratchet. So I'm glad we didn't have battery trouble because I can't get to that either. But maybe that's all I needed, an unknowing leap of faith. But anyway, good tacos were consumed at the Taco Boy. Good conversation was had. Ryan's a pretty cool dude. I could see putting him on the permanent list of folks to ride with, which is a pretty short list. I think he said he used to be in law enforcement, so that probably has a little something to do with the level-headedness. Pretty good guy. He hasn't lived in Oklahoma for very long and doesn't know the usual suspects of roads to take around here. So we went a little bit out of the way to get back home, and I'm taking him north up 102 from Highway 39 to Highway 9. It's not the curviest road in Oklahoma, but it's not the straightest road in Oklahoma. It's a pretty nice little stretch. And I think that's about the extent of it. So I think, since I couldn't do it on the trip about halfway through, I'll go ahead and plug the USB back in when I get home and maybe take her out for another short spin and see what happens. So until then, and with more editing magic, it's the next day. The USB is plugged back into the back of the stereo, and we're heading to Edmond to get a smoked burger. It is frickin' hot today. Let me see if I can't pull up the temperature. I don't know if it's updated from the garage yet. 95.9 the bike says. I think it's hotter than that. Could just be the heat index. Woke up this morning, I want to say it was early. It wasn't. It was like 10. Got the weed eater and the mower out and did all that good shit. Haven't seen rain in a couple weeks now, so hopefully that's the last time I'll do that for 2 or 3 weeks. But my luck, it'll rain tomorrow. I've got one picture from the guys so far, set up at a KOA in Pueblo, Colorado. I've been keeping them updated on the status of my bike, and they want me to meet them in Loveland, Colorado on Wednesday. I still don't think I trust this thing well enough until I got a good 1,000 miles under the belt without an issue. Yes, the issue was more than likely my fault, but what else did I stem if I burn out the stator connector down there, you know? Maybe that wasn't my fault. So far, she's doing good with the stereo plug back here, with the USB plug back into the stereo. I think I'll just cut my losses. I don't want to ride to Loveland all by myself in case something else does come up. So sorry, Jim. Sorry, Gary. I'm a massive failure. This is just the trashy section of Route 66. So I'll turn you back on when we get, don't have very far to go to get to the burger. Just a short ride today, so I'll bring you back. Maybe I'll remember to take pictures. I doubt it. It's becoming my theme. I think it'd be a disappointment if I did remember to take pictures. But we'll see ya. Getting pretty close. 3/10 of a mile, we're turning right on 15th Street. I don't know if this place has been here for a while or if it's fairly new. I've never heard of it. Oh look, Daylight Donuts. This road sucks. Edmond, smoked burgers. With fresh cut fries. Well, okay. Well, the burger was smoked. The fries were fresh cut. Just like ever. That's a giant freaking safe. Holy shit. Sorry. Wow. Okay, so the burger was good. It may have been smoked. It was probably smoked. I didn't smell any smoke. They might have put liquid smoke in it. I don't know. It was good. The fries were soggy and floppy. They definitely did not soak any starch out of them. Which, if you don't know, that's how you make your fries nice and crispy and hard. You soak them in water for a couple hours before you fry them. After you cut them. Soak some of the starch out of them. Makes them better. Makes them mo better. I had to walk up to a window and mark a punch card of what I wanted. I then had to walk back to that window to get my own food. All they have for seating is 2 kind of diner tables that were taken when I got in there, and then 3 picnic tables that are splintery as hell. And I had to pay before I got my food, and their kiosk requested a tip. And of course somebody's sitting there watching you put the tip in. So those are my red flags. I don't like to pay for my food before I eat it, unless it's fast food. I mean, but you get what you pay for in fast food anyway. And don't freaking request a tip from me if I gotta do all the damn work except for cook it. But that's what the actual bill is for. If you want a tip, bring me refills, bring me my damn food, come to my table and take my order. And you start at 15%, and the better you do, the better your tip gets. Screw this automatic 20% shit. But the burger was good. I might go back someday if they have better seating and wait staff. But as it sits right now, that was my only visit. And the air conditioning in the building was awful. But it's almost 100 degrees. We'll give them that one. That's a gimme. More importantly, I think we've been enough miles locally to say that my problem was a ground problem and it's gone. It has not come back since I reinstalled the battery. And now the USB is plugged in and it's still not coming back from that either. So, the cookie hath crumbled and this is gonna suck. Oh, shit! Fuck your roads, Edmund! Well, that's a wrap on the Gremlin saga, I think. We're up to 195 plus 20 miles with no further symptoms. Crazy to think it could have been aground the whole time. Maybe that stator connector had something to do with it. Maybe the background had something to do with the stator connector. The hardest part for me to understand is how I took those accent lights off around November. And I don't know how many thousands of miles I've ridden since then, probably 5-ish, and it wasn't an issue until a 600 some odd mile round trip. Grounds are funny things in electrical systems. But anyway, it's fixed. Still not too sure if I'd want to take the bike on a trip at this point. But I think I will still keep looking out for the next bike. I don't know what I want. There's nothing on the market right now that just screams at me. I kind of like the Indian Challenger, but it hasn't screamed at me yet. The new Road Glides look freaking awful. So we'll just see where it goes anyway. Appreciate you following along on this nightmare. And thanks for riding along on this trip. We'll see you on the next one.